Hello, this is teddygaming and welcome back to another review on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tmnt Usagi Yojimbo whenwhere issue number 1. So yeah, overall going into this issue, I was really curious to see how they'll be handling this issue, just because in the past we've only had like a one-shot crossover in terms of the comic books. I know that we did have a 3-part mini-series with Usagi back in the 80s, and we've had like a few appearances in the TV show. So I was really curious to see how they'll be handling this whole like story across 5 different issues, and I was really looking forward to that. And once going into this issue, I don't really know what to really say, because it somewhat confused. I would say it somewhat confused me in terms of what I'd be thinking would happen, but at the same time, because it's the first issue and set things up, I can sort of forgive it. But at the same time, it's a little bit weird, I would say, in terms of some aspects of the comic, which I'll be going over, because I would say that there are really good elements about this issue, such as the Usagi stuff, but when it comes to Turtle stuff, I do feel as though that's when it gets a little bit weak. So yeah. Okay, so actually going into this issue, we do start off with Usagi Yojimbo and his whole story bit, and it takes up like majority of the issue. I think it's about half the issue, and I must admit, I do like the focus on each like character in this series. I must admit, I do enjoy that, and I do definitely think that with the Usagi stuff, there is a lot more. I don't really know what to really say here, but like, I mean, the best way of describing it is maybe that Usagi has a lot more love put into this comic book than the Turtles does, but I do think that's mainly down to the fact that Stan Sakai, who is actually writing and creating Usagi Yojimbo comics, is actually writing this story. So I can't complain all too much, but I do think that there's a lot more love going into Usagi stuff, and I do think that's quite a good thing. Now, with the actual main story itself, we do get to see Usagi and all his teammates and all that. They're going after this one bad guy. I can't remember the exact name of this character, but basically the whole story is continuing on from another story from the Usagi Yojimbo comics. And I must admit, I do think that maybe I should have been keeping up with reading with Usagi, because there seems to be a lot that I've definitely missed, or maybe it hasn't happened yet, because I know that this is supposed to be 20 years in the future or something like that. But either way, we've got like Jen, who's married, we've got more Usagi Yojimbo characters, such as like Yuichi and Droto, who are other rabbits. So I feel so that I definitely missed a lot since last time I read Usagi, but I do feel so that's more of a me problem than the actual story problem. But during this issue, we do get to see Usagi going up to some peasants, and I really wish I didn't have to use that word, but that's what I do call them. And these peasants are asking Usagi if he can go out and kill this copper who's been going around and killing people. And that's when Usagi asks Lord Hiji, I think it is called, and asks if he can basically go out and stop it. Hiji says that yes, you can, but basically you only got a certain amount of time, which is unfortunate. But Usagi goes out and he gets his teammates to go out and go look for this copper. Now, when Usagi and his teammates go out to go look for this copper, they do split up into 2 different teams. Droto and Yuichi go off in one direction with the the guide, and we don't really find the copper, but they do eventually find the turtles. We'll get into that in a minute. But in another direction, we do have Usagi and Toriyami, I think it is. They go off in another direction. I would say that this is probably where I wish I kept up with Usagi comics a lot more, just because they're talking about arranged marriages and stuff like that. Because Toriyami, she's got married to someone, but it's not because of love and stuff like that. And Usagi asks if maybe they got married, things would be different. So, you know, it's a really interesting thing. I wish I would have kept up with Usagi comics a little bit more, just so that I feel as though that this can be a lot more, oh my god, I can't believe this, talking about this type of thing. But either way, I do think that this bit here was rather interesting, I would say. I just wish that I kept up with Usagi a bit more. But that's when they do encounter the copper and they kill it quite quickly. And again, there's not really too much I can really say about it here, but I do think that overall, this little bit here with the Usagi section, I do think it was a really great start, and I do definitely feel a lot more love towards Usagi, and I do think that's a good thing. But at the same time, when you do look at the Turtle side of things, I do feel as though there's a bit more bias towards Usagi, but either way, I do think that this was a great start for Usagi characters. Okay, now for the Turtles. And I would definitely have to say that they don't really feel much like the Turtles, but it feels to that they have like the core elements of the Turtles, and that's pretty much about it. Basically, you've got all the Turtles with the one personality trait, with Don being technical one, Rat being the hothead one, Mikey being the pizza loving one, Leo being the leader, and then also talk about pizza a lot. So I do feel as though that even though that this is a great like variety of things to have for the Turtles, I do feel as though that you're like very limiting the Turtles' interactions as well as the personalities of them quite a bit, as it doesn't really feel much like I don't know, it doesn't really feel too much like the Turtle characters themselves. It just feels though that they're like somewhat like from the 90s, 80s cartoon era turtles. So I do think that's like the only biggest problem which I do have with it, is that it's just like the turtles don't really feel like the turtles, but it just feels though that they just like have the core elements of the turtles and they don't really do much with it. But with the actual story itself, we do get to see the turtles go off in New York and go find where when, and we'll go off and start fighting different robots, and when actually time travels back in time, and that's when the turtles decide basically, oh, maybe it's not a good thing that he's time traveling, so they decide to go back in time. Now, I do think that with this overall, I do think that it's a pretty decent story, and it's like, I'll say it really fits well with the turtles, as with all the time travel and stuff like that, robots, it really fits in line with the turtles, I'd say. But I do think that when maybe we're gonna be like, because I know there's time travel and robots, when we got that in Usagi's world, I don't think that really fits all too well with Usagi's characters, stuff like that, because that feels more Ninja Turtles than Usagi. I know that there's supposed to be a crossover and all, but I do feel still that they lean more into the turtle things in terms of time travel and robots and villains, and they lean more into Usagi's stuff when it comes to like actual characters and personalities and stuff like that. So overall, I do think that's like a win-lose situation for both characters, but yeah. But then for the final page, we do get to see the turtles wake up in Usagi's world, and we see Yuichi and Jirato, I'm pretty sure that's the character's name called, and then that's when they're about to fight, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the main thing that's going to be happening in the first half of the issue. So I'm really curious to see what we're going to be doing in the next issue, because it feels though that they definitely set this issue up, or next issue up, to be a really interesting one in terms of how they're going to be interacting. Really curious to see how these new samurai rabbits are going to be interacting with the turtles. Not to mention the one thing which I'm really curious about, which they didn't really bring up in this issue, was the fact that these turtles, we don't know if this is like a new version of turtles, if they're pre-existing turtles, because even though they sort of look similar, a bit like the 2012 ones, their personalities could be interpreted as like maybe more the 87 ones or the Mirage or a 90s movie. You know, I feel too that this version of Turtles could be a new version of Turtles, but if it's not, then I do think it's going to be really interesting to see. Not to mention that one thing which I'm really looking forward to seeing in the next couple of issues is the interactions between the Turtle characters and Usagi characters, and I do hope they do lean into that, but at the same time I'm not too sure, so as anyone guesses right now. But yeah, overall, I would say that this whole first issue is a really great start to this crossover. I do think there's a lot of potential which I could tell, but I do think that with some of the things we've already pointed out in terms of the criticism which I do have with this one, I do think that there could be, potentially be some problems with it. I do think that having more focus on Usagi's characters and personalities, I do think that's great for the Usagi fans, but I do think that when you look at the Turtles, they all just come off as one-sided in terms of the personality, and I do think there's a lot of potential you could do to really delve into these characters and make them look better. And we'll say that maybe the only thing that you can possibly go around fixing this problem is maybe just having these turtles be a part of a already existing universe, because that already set up an emotional attachment to these characters. But overall, I do think that this series is going to be really fun, so much potential and really great things about it. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think about all this. And yeah, so that's gonna be it for today, guys. If you just want, please share, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.